You're listening to audio from the Decidedly podcast. For more information, find us on Instagram at Decidedly Podcast.
Went duck hunting this weekend.
All right.
Miserable.
Late in the season to do that.
Miserable. Talk about a bad decision. Don't duck hunt in late January. They shouldn't even permit it. They should have the game warden.
What made it so miserable?
There's no ducks.
The place you go is usually Duck Central. I'm surprised.
There's no effing ducks in late January, and I knew it. My friend said, "Hey man, let's go duck hunting." I said, "Well, okay." We hadn't hunted together all season, and I said, "Well, based on everything I know about hunting, this is not going to be successful."
Oh, you told them this ahead of time?
Yes. I said,
Okay.
One, it's late in the season, so there's not a lot of birds anyway. Two, the birds that are flying have been getting hunted for 3 months, so they're smart.
They're a little skittish.
Yeah, and we're not that good.
They've seen all their buddies get shot at.
Yeah, they've been at war for 3 months.
Yeah,
and so that alone is not good. So we don't have
your skills. This was the first time you guys went out and hunted, so your skills were not super sharp. I'm sure.
Well, it's not the first time I have hunted. It's the first time that we've hunted as a group this season.
Right. So that's what I mean.
So yeah, we're not like exactly operating as this well-oiled machine together, the three of us.
Right.
But we, so the ducks, there's not very many ducks. The ducks that you do see are very smart and aware. We don't have a good setup, like we don't have really a good blind in this location or anything. So
all right.
we are now more vulnerable to the smart ducks seeing us, which of course they did. And it has been cold here for like a week and a half.
Right.
And so that cold front here has probably pushed a lot of birds.
The ducks took off.
Might have been here a week and a half ago.
Right.
It pushed them further south. And so I said, well, I guess this is a decision. I said, I don't know, I wouldn't go, but y'all really want to go. And sure enough, not a single bird between the three of us.
You got skunked.
Nothing. I think I shot one time.
Oh,
and it was mostly out
miserable.
of frustration. I knew I had no chance of hitting it.
Was it cold?
It was freezing. It was awful.
Even worse.
It was awful. Oh, and I didn't even have waders. So
why are you going duck hunting without waders?
So, because I had committed to go, and then I realized, since I hadn't been this season, I realized, I threw my waders away last year because I had a hole in them. Which was a good choice because
that is a good choice. You can't patch them.
At some point, you just got to retire old equipment. You got to go. Right. These are 10 years old. I think I spent $100 on these waders. Okay, I got my $10 a year.
You got your money
value out of these. Okay. And so I didn't have any, which didn't bother me as I wasn't hunting. I just had other things going on this season. And then late, I honestly even forgot I was going. And then my friend texted me, goes, "All right, man, I'll be there at 5 a.m. And I went, that was at like 7:30 on Saturday night.
Oh, the day before. Yeah.
Yeah. And I go, oh crap. I got to go buy waders. I go to Academy. They have size 8 only.
Kid waders.
Yeah.
Okay. So not going to work.
I'm like, well, so the only impact of that was like, he has to do all the decoy setup, and if we had shot a single bird, he would have had to be the one to like go out and get it every time in the water.
Right.
But it just meant that we had to walk so much further, because normally we would like walk through the water to get to where we want to be.
Right. Okay.
And we had to walk around the entire like 15-acre lake. Because I couldn't get in the water, so it was just miserable.
It sounds like not a great duck hunt.
Yeah, but had a great time with my friends.
Oh, perfect then.
So it was all worth it.
Perfect.
Yeah, and afterwards, after the hunt, what really makes it worth it, regardless of whether you get birds or not, is we go to the Coffee Cup Diner in Heiko, right? I know you've been there.
Yeah.
Delicious food, even more delicious breakfast. They have, in my opinion, the best pancakes.
Yeah.
You know how some pancakes, they get really spongy and they don't soak in the syrup? and then some pancakes are really thin.
Yeah.
And so they're not spongy, but they don't soak in the syrup.
Wait, are you going to start a riff on pancakes now?
I'm talking about pancakes. I don't know why you got to give me a hard time. I have thoughts on pancakes. So what?
Most of my discussions with you, sometimes they mostly veer into your attitudes on food.
I don't think I think you're overplaying it.
No, I am not.
Most of our discussions veer into my attitudes on food.
You veer into food discussions.
Give me one example.
Exhibit A, right here.
This one doesn't count.
I'm
you pick a different example.
I'm using it. Go ahead. Let's hear your.
Is it my thoughts on tea?
Go with your dissertation on pancakes.
Yeah, okay. All right. I think you just wanted to try to make fun of me, and then you got embarrassed that you had no evidence to back your claim. So anyway, the pancake thesis is most pancakes are either too spongy or too thin. And in the great town of Hyco, Texas, they have found the perfect thickness yet absence of spongy texture of their pancakes.
Okay.
And they deserve an award for that.
Okay.
They're very tasty.
All right. Okay. I'll let you have it. Go with it.
Yet very unhealthy. And so I felt poorly for the rest of the day. I sat down and I watched. I took a nap, which I do maybe this whole
experience just went south for you.
It was not good. I mean, the mouth pleasure of the pancake eating was good. Everything other than that about the day, not good. Freezing my butt off to not shoot a bird, not good. Waking up at 3:00 to drive an hour and a half to get there at 5 to set up in the cold of the morning was not good. The stomach pains of eating the pancakes for the rest of the day, not good. In fact, I feel a little bit of it still this morning. And Tom Brady lost, so it was just literally everything went wrong.
The whole thing went south for you. I'm sorry.
But I made a rewarding yet poor health choice, and that was to consume those pancakes. Speaking of health, is that a segue that we can stick with? Are you okay with that segue?
Go with it. Let's.
I know you have you give me a hard time about my segues. So you see what I did? I talked about.
I don't give you a hard time about your segues. I give you a hard time about your lack of segues. you just pontificate on some BS like pancakes, and then you try and roll into a discussion on homeopathy.
I brought it on health, yeah.
And
so now
it makes no sense.
We talked today to a herbalist and homeopathic treatment expert, Sara-Chana Silverstein, and we learned a lot about alternative medicine and how to make decisions about your health. So enjoy this episode and learn a thing or two from Sara-Chana. I'm Sanger Smith with Sean Smith. This is Decidedly. Howdy.
Hi, Sanger. Hi,
What
Sean.
is this ridiculous hat you're wearing?
I had to tell you, I just felt like keeping it on. My mom found this in her house from years ago, this cowboy hat that I'm wearing. She's like, do you still want it? I said, duh. And so now I have it, and it just felt appropriate. I was in a
Why in the world did it feel
mood.
appropriate? Why
not? I mean, Sara-Chana has a hat on.
Okay.
And I wore a hat knowing that you were going to be wearing a hat, so I didn't want you to be the only one wearing a hat.
And they're both
right?
black. They match. You've got like a beanie on. I've got, a felt cowboy hat. I think that you're the oddball, Sean.
I guess I feel out of place now not having a hat on. I was totally prepared for you to sit in silence when we came on air. Sara-Chana, Sanger and I had had a discussion earlier that he was going to greet you when you came on the show, and there was a big discussion that he did not want me to jump in and do it, and so I was totally prepared, Sanger, that you were just going to sit there in silence and wait and just make it super awkward.
You gotta here's the preface here is that we always come up with, okay, well, starting out the conversation can be kind of the most awkward part because, hey, how do we start it off in a flow that's normal? And about 5 times in a row, I've said, okay, I'm going to start, right? Sanger is going to start, right? And then we'll get in there and he's just so excited that he just takes it upon himself. So Yeah, it would have been a funny
I
joke
do so
would've
many.
been.
for us.
I do so many interviews all the time. I've been through everything, so it's kind of hard to throw my brain in the wrong direction. So I'm here and ready to go,
Fantastic.
guys.
Well, I was reading your book, and holy cow, right? Right out of the gate, you've got a pretty compelling story about your daughter. As I kept reading, I just kept saying, "Oh my gosh, I hope she's okay." And then you get a few pages in, and she's fine. She walks. She's good now. She's making a full recovery.
Not a full, definitely 80% better, but that's much better than was expected on any level. So it wasn't a perfect recovery. It's still in the process, and she's still working really hard. I mean, one of the benefits I can say 100% is that, thank God, I had the knowledge and the connections of alternative medicine to help in collaboration with allopathic conventional medicine that was really not taking her to her next step.
So tell Sean a little bit about what happened to your daughter. Sean can't read.
You've got the book. That's why. Yeah, but no, I'm interested. Tell me about what happened.
So in the beginning of the book, I talk about how my daughter was hit by a car, became paralyzed from the shoulders down, became a quadriplegic. She was a very healthy woman in her young 20s. And when we went to the hospital, even though I was a homeopath and a master herbalist, obviously this was not my specialty, becoming paralyzed. So we listened to everything that the doctors said, and we did everything they said. And after a couple weeks, they said, well, we're going to put her in a convalescent home, and she's going to be in bed for the rest of her life. And that was really tragic. My daughter was fun and funky and running around, high heels, and I was kind of devastated. So she was in the hospital for 7.5 months, and we snuck in, True Confessions, an acupuncturist, a craniosacral therapist, a Feldenkrais therapist, a massage therapist, and behind everybody's back, we started doing a lot of intervention. And much to their surprise, she ended up getting out of bed, going into a wheelchair, from a wheelchair to a walker, and from a walker to a cane. So that was shocking to them. So they just said, miraculous recovery, miraculous recovery. But we saw that the intervention of what I like to call complementary medicine really got her to the next place that she needed to get to.
I think that what you just said, complementary medicine, is interesting phrase. I hadn't heard it before, because my gut instinct is to be skeptical of most things. And I think that a lot of people, their gut instinct when it comes to homeopathy, I'm saying it right, correct?
I practice herbal botanical medicine and homeopathic medicine.
Homeopathic medicine. I would imagine that a lot of people are skeptical, and you probably run into a fair number of people who share that skepticism with you. But you're not holding it out as a replacement for any sort of prescription medicine or surgery or anything. Then hey, we can use other sources in addition to traditional medicine. Is that a fair representation?
Well, I wouldn't call our current medical outlook traditional medicine. I'd actually call herbal medicine traditional medicine, and I'd call our current medicine more modern, unproven, theoretical medicine. So let me talk for a moment about that so you understand. People have lived for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and all we had was trees, roots, seeds, stems, leaves, and flowers. And we've lived for a very long time, and we've recreated, and plagues have come and plagues have gone, and human beings have survived. So it was very interesting because I'm constantly learning. And I was listening to a master herbalist speak the other day, and I am a master herbalist, which we can discuss. And he said, it's really great to read in a book that yerba santa, that's the name of an herb, is great to expel mucus from the lungs. It's really great